Okay, just now I don't have so much time because I have to start the program. Please join first. Join the program first. Okay, please join the program first. Then, huh? You don't have this link? So how you joined yesterday? Same link. Okay, sir. Same link.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Morning. Okay, so good morning to all of you. And today is the second day of this program. So our program name is the West Technology, and today's 26/10/2021. I mean the second day of this program. So today's total program schedule is like this. In session 1, shortly we shall start our session 1. Our guest teacher is waiting. And the today's first session lecture topic is biomedical waste management. So in this topic, we shall continue up to 11:30. So I repeat that today's total planning. So first session shortly we shall start, and in this session our topic is very much important and it is very much connected to our program title, that is biomedical waste management. So one medical practitioner, he is also waiting for us and he will deliver a lecture on this topic. I shall introduce shortly. In the second session, we shall start from 12 to 1:30. So here the topic, another very important topic of this program, that is liquid waste characterization and treatment. And the today's afternoon session, I mean the last session, that is also very much important. That is microbiology of wastewater treatment, or rather called secondary treatment of wastewater. So this is our today's total planning. So some general announcement. So same link, again I repeat like yesterday, same link you have to use from today to up to 29th of October, means last day. Same link, means Zoom link. This is, I think you already received this link in your registered mail. Okay, please use this mail for entering our program. Second announcement, like yesterday, again, today I will share the attendance link, not first half. In the afternoon session, around 2:30 to 4, I shall share like yesterday the day 2 attendance link. That is also Google form. So my request to all of my professors, please submit it within this day, means within 26/10/2021. Now we have to start our today's first session. And topic is very much important for us. You know, most of the hospital nursing home, they are generating so many waste, either in the form of solid or liquid, as well as some gaseous impurities. So this is the very important topic, and it is very much connected with our program title. So today with us, one of the renowned medical practitioner, he is very much young also. He is Dr. Kaushik Mitra. Okay, now I have to introduce Dr. Kaushik Mitra. So Dr. Kaushik Mitra, he is also showing his face. Is it okay? Dear respected participant, please confirm. Are you seeing Dr. Kaushik Mitra? Anyone, please?
No, sir. The face is not.
Okay.
Yes,
One face is showing.
Yes, sir, it's showing.
Okay, wait. Okay, wait. First, let me finish his introduction. So don't forget it. Program title is the medical waste management. So Dr. Kaushik Mitra with us. He did his MBBS degree from Calcutta Medical College under West Bengal University of Health Science, as well as DO means Diploma in Ophthalmology from Arjikar Medical College under same university. He received in his MD degree in community medicine is the specialization from another renowned college, that is Arjikar Medical College, Kolkata, and this college also under West Bengal University of Health Science. He is now an associate professor in Department of Community Medicine, Bardwan Medical College, Purbo Bardhaman district of West Bengal. Okay, this is something about his educational background. Now, professional background. He is Central Council member. Headquarter is Central Council member headquarter. That is Indian Public Health Association. Abbreviation is IPHA from 2019 to 23. He is a regular reviewer of some prestigious journal like Indian Journal of Public Health, Journal of Comprehensive Health, Undergraduate of Medical Journal, Asian Journal of Medical Sciences, etc. He has published more than 30 articles in national and international journals. He has contributed in IAPSM textbook of community medicine. He has conducted number of quiz as a quiz master in public health at state and national level. He is well-known motivational speaker and very popular among junior medical practitioner circle. He has conducted number of seminar workshop in the field of public health. So this is something about Professor Kaushik Mitra, and don't forget it, he is actually the medical practitioner. So our topics today is very much attractive for us because every day most of the hospital, nursing home, as well as some diagnostic center, they are generating so many waste. That waste we are saying in single word, that is called hospital waste or rather called medical waste. So how they are generating this one, Dr. Mitra will elaborate, as well as obviously how to manage this one. Okay, so this is something about Dr. Kaushik Mitra. And again, I repeat, today's our total 3 sessions like yesterday. So first session, within 1 minute we have to start. Second session, we'll start from 12. And the last session, we shall start from 2:30. Don't forget it. And same link you have to use. Okay. And most attractive, I mean, in this program, that is the attendance, day 2 attendance. Oh, okay. So I shall share this attendance from 2:30 to 4 o'clock anytime. Okay, so don't worry about this attendance. So with this, Dr. Mitra, please connect with us.
Thank you, sir, for night's introduction. Now, Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes, sir. Audible,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Audio
Okay.
Yes,
and
sir.
his video is okay, sir and madam?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
My video is now in off mode. Now
Okay.
he is very much prominent for us. Okay. So thank you very much. So during his
Thank-
discussion, another thing, this is my request, not order, not advice. Please check your audio. It should be the beta mode. This beta mode is the off mode. Please check your audio once again. And another request, during his lecture, don't open your audio. This is my earnest request to all of my professors. Okay. And like yesterday, another announcement. So whenever you are attending not only the Dr. NITTTR program, any program, please be seated with pen and one rough paper, because ultimately end of the program means last day, I have to conduct one online test. Okay. With this, thank you so much. Over to Dr. Kaushik Mitra.
Thank you, sir. As Dr. Mondal has already explained the norms of this program, I once again request you to keep yourself in mute mode or muted throughout my lecture. And after that, I will be answering to all your questions. Don't worry about that. After the lecture is over, I will be answering to all your questions within the time limit, obviously. And if you feel you will require further clarifications, you are free to text me or email me. If I can, I will definitely give your answers to it. So let me start today's program. Okay. Please provide us with a. This is for Dr. Mondal, I suppose. So let me start today's program. I'll be sharing the screen for my presentation. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is
Yes,
visible.
sir.
Everyone can see the screen.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is a part of this online faculty development program of AICTE, that is Auto AICTE Online Faculty Development on OS Technology. And this has been organized and conducted by the Department of Civil Engineering of NITTTR Kolkata. And Dr. S.N. Mondal is very nicely coordinating this program. And so I thank all of you for this program. Before I begin, I just want to show you a picture. So this is a picture of, can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. The masks.
The masks. Why are so many masks? Because we have been passing through the days of a pandemic of COVID-19. So we are using lots of masks, and every day someone is using N95, someone is using surgical, someone is using cloth masks. Everyone is using masks. Today, mask is an essential part, just like our dresses, our shirt, pants. This is an essential part, is mask. But what we are doing after using the mask, we are throwing it anywhere. Someone is throwing it on the roads, someone is throwing it on the streets. So anywhere they are throwing the mask. What does the mask do? The masks generally protect ourselves from the virus, because on the outer layer of the mask, the virus may get stuck and it doesn't enter our nose or mouth. But if we throw the mask here and there, see what is happening. Someone who is picking up these masks, he is not a biomedical waste manager or a transporter. He is just a rag picker. He doesn't know what these are. He is picking up the mask with bare hands and putting it inside a this bag. And in this way, not only COVID, I am not telling only about COVID, but this helps in spreading different disease anywhere. And you can also see the cows, the pigs, and everywhere they are present. And these sort of masks are also intermingled with the general waste. So this should be stopped. This is the what I can say, the objective of our program. Do not discriminately throw the biomedical waste. They may be harmful to all of us. They may be harmful to the animals. They may be harmful to the human beings. So indiscriminate throwing of this biomedical waste should be stopped. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you should all
Yes,
agree,
sir.
because you are all using masks, and so you should all agree that masks should be indiscriminately thrown on the streets like that. So I go to the proper lecture now. So this is of biomedical waste management. So there were biomedical waste management rules are there in India, and it has been formed in starting from 1998. Different rules and regulations were made for biomedical wastes. Just a minute. So these rules were known as Biomedical Waste Management Rules 1998, which were later amended from time to time. So what were in the rules of 1998? I am just telling you the salient features. First of all, biomedical waste management is an important public health issue. So for the first time, it came to our realization that it is an important public health issue. Previously, it was not thought of, but in 1998, the government of India thought that it is an important public health issue, and it was notified at that time by the Ministry of Environment and Forests on 20th July 1998. At that time, the ministry was known as Ministry of Environment and Forest, but now the name is changed. Then it came into force from 1998 itself. The biomedical waste management and handling rules. It is known as management and handling rules, which came into force from 1998. These rules apply to all. This is very important. These rules apply to all persons who generate, collect, receive, store, treat, dispose, or handle biomedical waste in any form. So I repeat these lines once again because each word is very important. So for whom these rules apply to? These rules apply to all persons who generate. Who are generators? That is the healthcare institutions, your diagnostic centers, your nursing homes, hospitals, they generate. Collect. Who collect? They are dedicated persons for collection of biomedical wastes. Receive. They are a person who receive the waste for proper disposal. Store. Transport. Treat. Because some of the biomedical waste need to be treated before formally disposing it off. Or handle biomedical waste in any form. It may be in the solid form, it may be in the liquid form. So these rules apply to all persons who generate, collect, receive, store, transport, treat, dispose or handle biomedical waste in any form. Now see, this is a news item. Just a minute. This was a news item where it shows medical waste lands up as garbage. And again, you can see these cattle, they are present there. They are eating the biomedical wastes. So syringes, vials, tissues, they are found in a waste in Anjanapura layout, that is somewhere in Karnataka. So this was a news item. So according to the biomedical waste handling rules, this should not be done. Biomedical waste shall not be mixed with any other waste. It should not be mixed with our kitchen waste. It should not be mixed with our general waste. Even our hospitals, the dispensaries, they generate general waste, but they are segregated from the biomedical waste. Suppose in an hospital, there are lots of paperworks. Papers are being generated, lots of computers, which lands up as e-waste, but they should not be mixed up with the biomedical waste and disposed together. And the container should be labeled properly. So this was not done at that time. You can see the syringes, vials, tissues, they're all lying here and there, and the cattle are feeding over it. And even blood is present in some of the wastes. So this should not be done. The waste was dumped 2 days ago and was stinking badly. The residents burned the waste on Monday morning. So what happened? The residents themselves came to burn out the biomedical wastes. So after this, the main question comes, what is biomedical waste? So we are talking of biomedical waste, but first of all, we should know what it is. Unless we know what is biomedical waste, we will not be able to dispose it off. Biomedical waste means any waste which is generated during the diagnosis, treatment, or immunization of human being or animals, or in research activities pertaining thereto, or in the production or testing of biologicals, and including categories mentioned in the Schedule 1 of Biomedical Waste Management and Handling Rules 1998. So there are 4 schedules in the Biomedical Waste Management and Handling Rules, out of which the waste categories were mentioned in the Schedule 1. So what is biomedical waste? It is any waste which is generated during diagnosis. So when people go to a laboratory or hospital for diagnosis, some waste is always being generated, because when you are going to give blood for, suppose you have gone to a diagnostic center for doing a sugar test. What we do when you go there, the phlebotomist or the person taking the blood, he uses his gloves and put on the needles and syringe and draw the blood from your vein. So after this this process is over, he takes the blood in a vacuum cleaner and send it to the laboratory. But what he does, that is, when he draws the blood from your vein, he is using a needle and syringe. That is a biomedical waste. That is a biomedical waste which is generated during diagnosis. Then during treatment, what is treatment? When someone is in hospital. Suppose he is undergoing an operation. So lots of waste are being generated. They are using these gloves, gauze, bandage, and many other things which may be contaminated with blood or any other body fluids. So these are the waste which are biomedical waste which are generated during treatment. Even if someone is in the hospital for COVID. So for treatment of COVID, lots of gadgets are used nowadays. There's oxygen giving gadgets, concentrators and all. They use tubings, so on and so forth. So these are all biomedical waste which are used for treatment of patients. And what is immunization? Immunization, generally loosely we can talk that is vaccination. So as we go for COVID vaccination, so you can see that when you take a vaccine, it is drawn with the help of a needle and a syringe. And nowadays, what we are using is auto-disabled syringe. That is, after the vaccination is over, that syringe cannot be used twice. It is auto-disabled due to a valve-like action. So it is an auto-disabled syringe which we use, but after the vaccination is over, that needle and syringe is a biological waste because that will not come to any other use. So what has to be done? That syringe has to be destroyed with the help of a hub cutter and put in the segregated in proper form at that point of generation. So that is where biomedical waste is being generated at the time of immunization. Same thing also applies for animals or in research activities. Research activities also involves human subjects, animal subjects. So research activities also generate some amount of biomedical waste. Or in the production or testing of biologicals. Biologicals means different types of medicines which are used in different diseases. So in the testing of biologicals or research work, these biomedical wastes are also being generated. And these are mentioned in the Schedule 1 of Biomedical Waste Management and Handling Rules of 1998. Again, the rule was amended in 2016. So what has changed? Let me read out the definition. What was given in these 2016 rules? First of all, it means any waste which is generated during the diagnosis, treatment, or immunization of human beings or animals or research activities pertaining thereto or in the production or testing of biologicals. It was up to there into 1998 biomedical management and handling tools. What is added? Or in health camps. So the health camps, this phrase has been added in the biomedical waste management rules of 2016. So if health camps are being arranged, you can see nowadays this COVID vaccination camps are being arranged in different localities. So lots of biomedical wastes are being generated. Some club is arranging these COVID vaccination camps, but what will happen to these used needles and syringes? What will happen to these used gloves? Will they throw it in the with the normal garbage? Normal vats? No, it is not at all allowed. You have to properly dispose of this biomedical waste from the health camps also to prevent spread of diseases, including the categories mentioned in the Schedule 1. So this biomedical rules, my management rules 2016, they also contain such 4 schedules, and these categories are also mentioned in the Schedule 1 of these rules. I hope all of you have by the time understood what is biomedical waste, because this is the main pillar of today's discussion. If we do not understand what is biomedical waste, we cannot go into the details of it. So even if we arrange health camps, that also generate biomedical waste. So it is any waste which is generated during diagnosis, treatment, or immunization of human beings or animals or research activities pertaining thereto or in the production or testing of biologicals or in health camps, including the categories mentioned in Schedule 1 of Biomedical Waste Management Rules of 2016. So what is in this rule? of 2016. It was formed by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. See, the name of the ministry has also changed by the year 2016. In the year 2008, in the year 1998, it was Environment and Forest, but now climate change has also come in the name of the ministry. On the year 2016, these rules were formed. This is in separation of the biomedical waste management and handling rules. I mean, the name of the rules have also been changed. It's only management rules of 2016. Previously, it was named as biomedical waste management and handling within brackets rules 1998. This is notified to implement these rules more effectively and to improve the collection, segregation, processing, treatment, and disposal of this biomedical waste in an environmentally sound management, thereby reducing the biomedical waste generation and its impact on the environment. So, the central government reviewed the existing rules. So, what has happened? We have to, in the year 1998, these rules were formed. But as I have already shown in these newspaper clippings, still people were not following these rules. Hospitals were not following these rules strictly and stringently. So again, these rules in 2016, and it was to reinforce and use these rules more effectively and to improve the collection. So what we can do, collection, segregation, that is different types of biomedical wastes should be segregated, processed. So different wastes should be processed differently. So segregation should be done, and generally segregation should be done at the point of generation. It is easier to segregate the wastes properly at the point of generation rather than at the point of disposal. So as it is a biomedical waste, when we are generating the waste, we may be generating some human anatomical waste. That is a part of a human body which is being cut, and that is also a biomedical waste. We will not dispose this human anatomical waste along with these needles and syringes. Both are different types of waste. So it should be segregated at the point of generation. Processing is also different for different types of waste. Liquid waste are processed differently. Solid waste have also different types of processing mechanisms, and all these processing mechanisms, they generally come under the purview of engineering, or better to say public health engineering. Treatment and disposal of this biomedical waste and environmentally sound management. Previously, it was also not thought of to dispose them in environmental sound management system. But in 2016, these rules were modified and amended, and government thought of disposing the waste in an environmentally sound management system. So they reviewed the existing rules. So for whom these rules will be applicable? These rules shall apply to all persons. Again, I say these 2016 rules also, it is applicable to all persons who generate, collect, receive, store, transport, treat, or dispose or handle biomedical waste in any form, including hospitals, nursing homes, clinics, dispensaries, veterinary institutions, animal houses, pathological labs, blood banks, Ayush hospitals. Ayush means Ayurvedic, Unani, this homeopathy, Siddha, yoga, and naturopathy. This forms the Ayush. Clinical establishments, research or educational institutions, health camps, medical or surgical camps. Surgical camps are generally not conducted nowadays. Vaccination camps, blood donation camps, fasted rooms of schools, forensics labs, and research labs. So for whom these rules are applied? The rules shall apply to all persons. First of all, the persons. Who are the persons? Who generate waste, who collect waste, receive waste, store, transport, treat, dispose or handle biomedical waste. So these are the person who does all these works: generate, collect, receive, store, transport, treat, dispose or handle in any form, that is solid, liquid or any form. From where these are generated? From the hospitals, from the nursing homes, from clinics, from dispensaries, veterinary institution, that is where the animals are being treated. There also these wastes are generated. Animal houses, pathological and diagnostic laboratories, blood banks, Ayush hospitals, clinical establishment, research and educational institution, health camps, medical or surgical camps, vaccination camps, blood donation camps, so all sorts of camps, fasted rooms of schools. Yes, there are fasted rooms present in each and every school nowadays. Each and every institute is also having some fasted rooms, but they have to properly dispose of this biological waste or biomedical waste. Forensic labs and research labs. So these rules apply to all of them. And for whom these rules do not apply? Radioactive waste, as because they are covered under the provisions of Atomic Energy Act. Hazardous chemicals covered under the manufacture, storage and import of hazardous chemicals rules. Solid waste covered under the municipal solid waste management and handling rules. The lead acid batteries, they also come under the battery management and handling rules. So these wastes are not applied as biomedical wastes. They are disposed of separately according to the rules or the act for which they come under. So radioactive waste, hazardous chemicals, solid waste, lead acid batteries, they are not under these rules. And what else? Hazardous waste come under the hazardous waste management, handling and transboundary movement. Waste coming under e-waste, that's the electronic waste. That I think that will also be dealt in this program within a day or two. Hazardous microorganisms, genetically engineered microorganisms, cells covered under manufacture, use, import, export, and storage of hazardous microorganisms, genetically engineered microorganisms, or cells rules. They do not come under the purview of biomedical waste management rules. Say they do not come under the biomedical waste management rules 2016. So all they come under different rules. Now I have talked about the rules which were formed in 1998 and 2016, and these rules are also formed, these amended in 2018 also. So I am going to share just a screenshot of these rules to you, which can be downloaded also. Just I'm showing you. So can you see it? Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is the rules which were amended in 2018. So this is, you can see, press information, Government of India notified the rules in 2018. Biomedical waste management rule amended to protect human health. And there are some salient features. Previously, it was thought that these would be these biomedical waste would be disposed of in this non-chlorinated plastic bags. But it was thought that you have to phase out these plastic bags. So nowadays, plastic bags have been phased out by March 27, 2019. And all healthcare facilities should make annual report. These are also made mandatory from 2018 rules. So these are the some of the rules which are being changed or amended in 2018. And these are the rules which are amended in 2016. So you can see this is the notification. The Government of India, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, they have notified the rules in March 28, 2016. So this is the this is in the Gazette of India, and this is an expert from the Gazette. And this was the former rules which I was talking about. Biomedical Waste Management and Handling Rules 1998. So from time to time, these rules are amended, and it will also be amended again, maybe in a year or two, some new rules may come out. So now we are following the rules of 2016, amended in 2018 and coming into force from 2019. So now I come back to my slides. So what is biomedical waste treatment and disposal facility? Can you see the slides?
नहीं वो कल्पना ने हिसाब किताब ला मिला
Can you see my slides?
Yes, sir.
yes sir yes sir yes sir continue sir
So biomedical waste treatment and disposal facility. What it is? Biomedical waste treatment and disposal facility means any facility wherein the
Dr. Mitro,
yes,
actually the screen is showing the BMW 1998.pdf. Screen is showing, not your PPT.
okay. Let me then reshare it.
Yes.
Now,
Yes. Now it
Yes,
is.
now visible. Yes.
It's okay, sir. It's okay.
now it's okay.
Yes, 100%.
Yes, sir.
So biomedical waste treatment and disposal facility means any facility wherein treatment, disposal of biomedical waste or processes incident to such treatment and disposal is carried out and includes common biomedical waste treatment facilities. So it is a facility where the biomedical waste is disposed or processed, that is known as biomedical waste treatment and disposal facility. Who is an authorized person according to the rules? Authorized person is either an occupier or an operator. Who is that? It is authorized by prescribed authority to collect, to generate, collect, receive, store, transport, treat, process, dispose, or handle biomedical waste in according to these rules and guidelines issued by the central government or Central Pollution Control Board, as the case may be. So these are the authorized person. So authorized person can broadly be divided as occupier and operator. So who are they? Occupier means a person having administrative control over the institution and the premises generating biomedical waste. So a person who is in charge of an hospital is an occupier according to the biomedical waste management rules. So he is an occupier because he is having the administrative control over the institution and premises generating biomedical waste, which may include a hospital, nursing home, clinic, dispensary, veterinary institution, animal house, pathological labs, blood bank, healthcare facilities, clinical establishment, and even the person in charge of health camps. He is also an occupier. Occupier is generally the person in charge of the institution generating biomedical waste. So this term has been used as occupier. Now, who is an operator? Operator of a common biomedical waste treatment facility means a person who owns or controls a common biomedical waste treatment facility. That is the owner of the common biomedical waste treatment facility Nowadays, there are many biomedical waste treatment facility in different districts also. These waste treatment facilities are coming up, not only in West Bengal, but in all parts of India. These biomedical waste treatment facility are there in every district. And maybe it is on in some states it's under the purview of government, and in some other states it is under this private facility. So both have the operator, that is a person who is in charge or who owns or controls a biomedical waste treatment facility for the collection, reception, storage, transport, treatment, disposal, or any other form of handling of biomedical waste. Now coming on to the types of biomedical waste. So first of all, we'll divide into hospital waste and waste generated at other healthcare facilities and also at household level. Then from the hospital waste, there may be 10 to 25% are hazardous waste and 75% are non-hazardous waste. So, but as hazardous wastes are generated, hospital waste is really a danger for all of us. So what does healthcare facility means? It is a place where diagnosis, treatment, or immunization of human beings or animals is provided, irrespective of type and size of health treatment system. Suppose there is a health clinic, which is only a one-room clinic. This is also healthcare facility, and it also generates biomedical waste. Suppose there is a super specialty or a multi-specialty hospital, which is of a 10-storied building. That is also a healthcare facility generating biomedical waste. The rules will apply to both of them because both are healthcare facility under the purview of this biomedical waste management rules. So between 75% and 90% of the waste produced by the healthcare providers is non-risk or general healthcare waste comparable to domestic waste. 75 to 90% are general waste. They do not pose any problem for us. It comes mostly from the administrative and housekeeping functions of the healthcare. As I was talking about, we are using lots of papers, we are using computers, we are using pens and all. So lots of waste are being generated that from the facilities also, just like any other office, because healthcare facility has also a office system running side by side. So general wastes are also being generated there, but the remaining 10 to 25% of healthcare waste is regarded as hazardous waste and may pose a variety of health risks. So we are more concerned with this 10 to 25% of healthcare waste, which is hazardous to human health. As because we are concerned with this 10 to 25%, we have to deal it in fully and segregate the waste at the point of generation. Out of the total amount of waste generated, about 85% is general non-hazardous waste. The remaining 15% is considered hazardous material because they may be infectious, they may be toxic, they may be radioactive. So these are hazardous waste. Every year, an estimated 16 billion injections are administered worldwide as per World Health Organization data. Please mute yourself. But not all the needles and syringes are properly disposed of afterwards. They may be indiscriminately thrown here and there. So, although an estimated 16 billion injections are administered, but the needles and syringes are not properly disposed of. Open burning and incineration of healthcare waste can, under some circumstances, result in emission of dioxins, furans, and particulate matters. So that is also somewhat hazardous. So that may also be avoided if it is at all possible. Measures to ensure the safe and environmentally sound management of healthcare waste can prevent adverse health and environmental impacts. So the disposal of this waste must also be environmentally friendly. Otherwise, this will result in emission of these toxic gases and particulate matters, and can prevent adverse health and environmental impacts from such waste, including unintended release of chemical or biological hazards, including drug-resistant microorganisms. That is also an important issue nowadays. This indiscriminate throwing of waste, biomedical waste, resulting in these microorganisms to go inside some other animals or human bodies and mutate themselves and becoming drug resistant into the environment, and thus protecting the health of patients, health worker, as well as the general public. So the disposal should be environmentally sound. It should be an environmentally friendly management system to dispose of this healthcare waste. So healthcare waste carries a higher potential for infection and injury than any other type of waste that we have learned. It is not as safe as our general kitchen waste. It is essential to have a safe and reliable method for its handling. It may pose serious public health consequences and a significant impact on the environment. Its management is a crucial component of environmental health protection. Its management must become an important part of healthcare services. So when we provide healthcare, we should also think of side by side of this biomedical waste management system for the healthcare. Unless we do not devise, nowadays, the permission is not given for setting up of an healthcare establishment. Unless you do not have a proper biomedical waste management system, you will not get a permission to set up a healthcare facility. So, healthcare, waste is a risk to all. It affects us in different ways. So, it is a risk for all. It can transmit AIDS or HIV, hepatitis, tuberculosis. It can land up in air pollution, hospital-acquired infection, scavenging by rag pickers and animals results in infection for them. So it affects us in different ways. So healthcare activities protect and restore health and save lives. This you all know. The healthcare activity should be there, must be there, and will be there, because it protects us. It protect and restore health for all of us and save our lives. But what about the waste and byproducts they generate that affect our lives, that affect others' lives, that affect human health, that also affects our environment? So healthcare activities should be there, but we shall also think about the waste and byproduct. What do we do with all of these? So let us have a thought. So what are the types of healthcare waste? These are infectious waste, pathological waste, sharps waste, that is needles and syringes, chemical waste. We are using lots of chemicals, pharmaceutical waste, that is the medicines, drugs. These are all pharmaceutical waste, because all the medicines are not consumed. They'll end up in after the expiry date. So what we'll do? These are waste. Cytotoxic waste. Cytotoxic materials are those medicines which are used in the treatment of cancers as chemotherapy. So cancer chemotherapy, these are also known as cytotoxic wastes. Radioactive waste, these are used in X-rays, they are used in our CT scans, PT scans, and all these scanning and diagnostic facilities, they use radioactive materials. Even in the treatment of certain diseases, radioactive substances are being used. So radioactive waste are also generated. And at last, the non-hazardous waste. which we are not dealing here, but we shall also have thought, because the general waste and these infectious, pathological and other waste may intermingle, or they may not be segregated and land up as hazardous waste. So what is infectious waste? Waste contaminated with blood and other body fluids, that is from discarded diagnostic samples, cultures, stocks of infectious agents from laboratory work, that is waste from autopsies and infected animals from laboratories, or waste from patients with infections, that is swabs, bandages, disposable medical devices. All the medical devices are not reused, so they are disposable, so they are also infectious. Suppose a patient is on ventilator, the tube has been put inside the airway, that will not be again put in some other person's or other patient's airway, that is a disposable medical device. So this is also an infectious waste, because we do not know a person who is having a lung infection has got so many infections from so many bacteria and viruses. So these are infectious waste. What are they? Waste contaminated with blood and other body fluids, from discarded diagnostic samples, cultures and stocks of infectious agents, from waste from autopsies and infected animals, waste from patients with infections, that is swabs, bandages and disposable medical devices. So we can see here lots of infectious waste. These wastes are mixed up with blood. See the bandage, you see the gauze, they are mixed up with blood. So these are all infectious waste. Now we come to the pathological waste. What are they? Human tissues, human organs, body parts. A person having amputation of a body part, that is a pathological waste. A person having an organ removed from his body, that is a human tissue. There are certain samples of body fluids and also contaminated animal carcasses. So see here in the picture, this leg has been removed because of some gangrene or lack of blood supply. So this will land up as pathological waste or human anatomical waste, because this will not go with this general waste. This is a part of the leg. This had to be disposed of. This is a pathological waste. Now coming on to the shafts. What are shafts waste? Syringes, needles, disposable scalpels, blades. They are all sharp instruments. What is the difficulty in this sharp instrument is that this can land up as prick. So someone picking this up may get prick from this and get infected or get injured. So there is chance of infection, there is chance of injury. So syringes, needles, disposable scalpels, blade, this all comes under sharps waste. See the needles and these syringes, they are all under sharps waste. Now coming on to the chemical wastes. Solvents and reagents used for lab preparations, disinfectants, sterilants, heavy metals contained in medical devices, broken thermometers, broken these sphygmomanometers, that is blood pressure measuring instrument, which we are not using nowadays, but previously we used to measure blood pressure through a mercury instrument. So broken devices, they contain lots of chemicals, solvents, reagents. These are all chemical wastes. See here, a broken thermometer. Mercury is being spilled. So as mercury is spilled, this is landing up as chemical waste. What is pharmaceutical waste? expired, unused and contaminated drugs and vaccine. So many medicines are expired because of non-using. There are unused medicines. There are contaminated drugs. So these are all pharmaceutical waste. So you can see here the pharmaceutical waste. Cytotoxic waste. Waste containing substances with genotoxic property, that is toxic to our genes. These cytotoxic materials are medicines which are used for treatment of cancer as cancer chemotherapeutic drugs. They are also known as cytotoxic drugs and used in cancer treatments and other metabolites. And they are also used in some other diseases like rheumatoid and autoimmune diseases also. So these are all cytotoxic drugs which are toxic to our genes. So they are also landing up as cytotoxic waste. So there is a symbol of cytotoxic waste. You can see that's a triangle with a C inside it. Now, radioactive waste. What is that? Products contaminated by radionucleotides, including radioactive diagnostic material or radiotherapeutic materials. So we are using radioactive substances for two reasons. One is for diagnosis, the other is for therapy. That is, we are using treatment. It is used in diagnosis as well as treatment. And they also land up as radioactive waste. So these are all radioactive waste which are being generated. The last is the non-hazardous or general waste that do not pose any particular biological, chemical, radioactive or physical hazard. That is just like our general waste. See the general waste, cardboard box, cartons, these papers, other materials, broken pieces. Because just like any other establishment, healthcare establishment also has an office and uses all these materials. So general waste are also being generated in healthcare, and that should not be mixed up with the biomedical waste. So what are the major sources of healthcare waste? Hospitals, clinics, labs, research centers, vaccination centers, blood bank, animal research centers, nursing homes, mortuaries, autopsy centers. So these are the major sources of healthcare waste. Hospitals, clinics, labs, research centers, vaccination centers, blood bank, animal research centers, nursing homes, mortuaries, and autopsy centers. There are some minor sources: physicians' clinics, office, dental clinics, home health care, nursing homes, small nursing homes, acupuncturists, cosmetic piercing and tattooing, medical research scientists, research institutions, paramedical services, institutions for disabled persons, animal slaughterhouses. These generate small amount of healthcare waste. But the major sources are these: hospitals, clinics, labs, research center, big nursing home, mortuaries, and these are all minor sources of healthcare waste. So what is hospital waste load? High income countries generate on an average up to 0.5 kg of hazardous waste per hospital bed per day. That is half a kg per day per hospital bed. Half a kg per bed per day. While low income countries generate on average of 0.2 kgs. However, healthcare waste is often not separated into hazardous and non-hazardous waste in low income countries. making the real quantity of hazardous waste much, much higher than the developed countries. So this 0.2 kg should be segregated at source and should not be mixed up with the non-hazardous waste, because this will increase the burden. When it is, if it is not segregated, its non-hazardous waste will also be treated as biomedical waste. So it will increase the hospital waste load. So what are the health risks from these hospital waste or biomedical waste? Healthcare waste contains potentially harmful microorganisms that can infect hospital patients, that can infect health workers and the general public. So healthcare waste contains potentially harmful microorganisms that can infect hospital patients, health workers and general public. Other potential hazards may include drug-resistant microorganisms which spread from healthcare facilities into the environment. So this is the other potential hazards. First of all is infection, direct infection for the hospital patients, health worker and general public. And the second is development of drug-resistant microorganisms. Next is other risks are sharp inflicted injuries. If these needles, scalpels and blades are lying here and there, that may inflict unintentional injuries. Toxic exposure to pharmaceutical products, in particular antibiotics and cytotoxic drugs released in the surrounding environment, and to substances such as mercury or dioxin during the handling or incineration of healthcare waste. So these are the some other risks like the use of disposal of cytotoxic drugs and formation of harmful substances while disposing of these biomedical wastes. Chemical burns in the context of disinfection, sterilization, waste treatment. So when we use chemicals, there are chances of chemical burns. Air pollution, as I've already spoken of, this may result in formation of some harmful pollutants in our environments. Thermal injuries in conjunction with open burning and the operation of medical waste incinerators, because they burn at high temperatures and may result in thermal injuries. As it results in high temperature, it may result in thermal injuries. Radiation burns. Radiation hazards. This is a big chapter. Different types of radiation hazards. Not only burns, it may land up in cancers in later stage of life. Risk from waste shafts. Worldwide, an estimated 16 billion injections are administered every year, that I have already spoken of. Not all needles and syringes are disposed of safely. It creates a risk of injury and infection and opportunities for reuse. So if it is not disposed of, there is an opportunity of reusing it, because people are not aware and they try to make some money from taking this and reusing it. Injections with contaminated needles and syringes in low-income countries and middle-income countries have reduced substantially in recent years, partly due to the efforts to reduce reuse of injection devices. Despite this progress, in 2010, unsafe injections were still responsible for many as new HIV infections, hepatitis B infections, and hepatitis C infections. So these are the three main infections which are transmitted by parenteral route, that is by other than taking in, that is parent from the infected needles and syringes or infected scalpels, out of which the most infected is this hepatitis B, that is chance of 30%. Whereas for this hepatitis C, it is 1.8, and HIV/AIDS, it is only 0.3%, but there is some risk is always there. A person who experiences one needle stick injury from a needle used on an infected source patient had risk of 30%, 1.8%, and 0.3% respectively of becoming infected with hepatitis B virus, hepatitis C virus, and human immunodeficiency virus, that is HIV/AIDS. And this is also an occupational hazard for doctors too, because there are chances of getting needle pricks from these infected patients. And the risks are 30%, 1.8%, and 0.3%. So it is very essential to dispose the sharp waste in a proper manner. See, the rag picker is playing with the sharp waste. Additional hazards can occur for scavenging at waste disposal sites and during the handling and manual sorting of hazardous waste from healthcare facilities. The waste handlers are at immediate risk of needle stick injuries and exposure to toxic or infectious materials. They are at immediate risk of needle stick injuries and exposure to toxic or infectious materials. Risk from chemical and pharmaceutical wastes, intoxication from absorption of chemical or pharmaceutical waste through the skin or the mucous membranes or from inhalation or ingestion, that is taking in. Injuries to the skin, the eyes, the mucous membranes of the airways can be caused by contact with the flammable or inflammable, corrosive or reactive chemicals such as formaldehyde and other volatile substances. They may result in burn injuries. So this chemical and pharmaceutical waste are also hazardous for us, for human health. Risk from radioactive waste. The type of disease caused by radioactive waste is determined by the type and extent of exposure. The time of exposure, that is a period of exposure, is also very important to determine what will happen in the future if we are exposed to radioactive substances. It can range from headache, dizziness, vomiting for low exposure, but can pose serious problems, genotoxic problems, and even cancers from this radioactive waste. Handling of highly active sources, certain sealed sources from diagnostic instrument may cause much severe injuries and should therefore be undertaken with utmost care. So radioactive injury is a very important issue, and radioactive waste should be disposed of as per the existing rules of atomic energy. So that is also a very important issue. Who are at risk groups? Who are generally at risk from this biomedical waste? Persons working in hospitals and hospital support service, patients who are attending the hospitals from treatment, attendants of patients who are accompanying the patients, staffs engaged in waste handling and waste disposal process. And to some extent, general public is also at risk. But who are at risk groups? If we are to tell that who are at very risk, the persons working in hospital and hospital support services, patients attending hospitals for some treatment, attendants of patients, and staffs engaged in waste handling and waste disposal process. Sanitation workers, medical and paramedical staff, medical and patients and attendants, and public. So what are the steps in biomedical waste management? Generation, segregation, collection, storage, transport, treatment, and disposal. So generation, it is at hospital, it is at a nursing home, it is at some healthcare institute, maybe health camps, Anywhere this is generated. Segregated at the point of generation. So first is generation, then is segregation. Next is collection. After it is segregated into different types of waste, it is collected by some agencies, by some people. Then it is stored. It can be maximally stored for 48 hours before we have to dispose it off. Transport. It have to be transported in dedicated vehicle for biomedical waste. We cannot transport biomedical waste in general waste vehicles or municipal vehicles. There are dedicated transport facilities which are available for transport of biomedical waste. Treatment. There are common biomedical treatment facilities are there. Biomedical waste treatment facilities are there, in which are being set up in different districts, and treatment is done there. And at last is disposal. But this, up to this collection, it is coming under the purview of the hospitals or doctors, or you may say, who are involved in the process. But when it comes to transport, it is with some other departments. When it comes to treatment and disposal, it is under this Pollution Control Board and Public Health Engineering. They deal with this. Engineers deal with what is to be constructed, how is the incinerator be used, if it at all cannot be used or it cannot be set up, whether we can go for a deep burial. These are all coming under the purview of the engineers. And at last is disposal. Now, segregation of biomedical waste. The key to minimization and effective management of healthcare waste is segregation or separation and identification of the waste. Appropriate handling, treatment, and disposal of waste reduces costs and does much to protect public health. Segregation should always be the responsibility of the waste producer, because it should be take place as close as possible to where the waste is generated, and should be maintained in storage areas during transport. The same system of segregation should be enforced throughout the country. The country should have a common biomedical waste disposal mechanism, and that is being formulated in these biomedical waste management rules. So it is not a problem, but segregation should be done, and should be done at the closest point of generation. It means separation of defined types of waste by sorting or systematic separation of biomedical waste into designated categories. So there are 4 categories of biomedical waste, and that should be segregated in 4 different categories. So as I'm running short of time, I'm just going in through this. I'll be sharing with you this material. You can go through it because our time is very short. As the biomedical waste management tools, use of chlorinated plastic bags and gloves have been phased out. For chemical treatment, 10% sodium hypochlorite solution having 30% residual chlorine for 20 minutes was there, but now in the new rules it has been reduced to 1 to 2% of sodium hypochlorite, and mutilation or shredding must be to an extent to prevent unauthorized reuse. There will be no chemical pretreatment before incineration except for microbiological, lab, and highly infectious waste, and cytotoxic drugs should be handed over to the authorized, should not be handed over to the unauthorized person, and it should be sent back to the manufacturer. So different categories, I am running through it because only 2 or 3 minutes are left for me. Categories of biomedical waste. First of all is the yellow category. You can go through this material. Yellow categories include human anatomical waste, animal waste, soiled waste, and each have been defined over there, and they are all disposed of in yellow colored bags before being incinerated. Others are expired or discarded medicine, chemical waste. They all come under yellow categories. And the treatment and disposal mechanism is also being discussed here. Chemical liquid waste, that is also coming under the yellow categories. This is also a very important issue of this liquid waste, because separate collection system should be there before leading it to the effluent treatment system. Discarded linen, mattress, beddings are all yellow category waste and disposed of in yellow bags. Microbiology, biotechnology, and other waste are also defined under yellow category waste and should be autoclaved in safe bags or containers. Then come the red category waste, which are contaminated waste, recyclable waste, or contaminated, such as tubing, bottles, intravenous tubes. These are contaminated waste and should be disposed of in red color bags or containers. Autoclaving and microwaving, these are all done for this red category waste. Next is the white category waste, or the translucent, where as we can see through it, it is translucent. Waste sharps, all the sharp instruments, needles, syringes, scalpels, blades, disposed in this white, designated as white category waste and disposed of in puncture-proof, leak-proof, tamper-proof containers. Autoclaving is done for these sorts of wastes. What are blue categories? They are glasswares, metallic body implants. They are in blue colored boxes, cardboard boxes are there for disposing of this blue category waste. Disinfection is done by soaking the washed glass waste after cleaning with detergent and sodium hypochlorite, 1 to 2%. So these are designated as blue category of waste. So in a nutshell, it's given here what are yellow category, what is red category, what is white category, and what is blue category. And these categories have been formulated in the new rules in 2016. Previously, in the rules of 1998, there were 10 categories of waste. And now these have been clubbed and made into 4 categories of waste in 2016 rules. So this is a dedicated vehicle for transportation of biomedical waste. I am not going in details about this incineration process. This is under the purview of your, that is the engineers. They have designed this incineration. So there are different types of incinerators, double chamber, single chamber, rotary kilns. There are certain types of waste which are not to be incinerated, such as pressurized gas containers, reactive chemical waste, waste with high quantity of mercury or cadmium content as thermometers, pygmamanometers, batteries. They should not be incinerated. This was previously used single chamber incinerator. Now it is not at all used. This is another substitute of incineration, that is plasma pyrolysis, which are used sometimes. Autoclave, these are autoclave machines. And this is a picture of common biomedical waste treatment facility. It's a common biomedical waste treatment facility. Is a setup where biomedical waste generated from a number of healthcare units is imparted necessary treatment to reduce the adverse effect that this waste may pose. The treated waste may finally be sent for disposal in a landfill and for recycling purpose. So it is a common biomedical waste treatment facility. So please remember, the primary responsibility of the disposal of the biomedical waste lies with the generator. The generator is responsible for segregation and disposal. It lies with the generator of the waste, that is the healthcare institutions. See how the needles are destroyed with the help of a hub cutter. The hub of the needle is being cut. Sharp waste are discarded. Here is, do not carry waste in open bags. It may result in spillage, and never carry it through crowded areas. Always carry the waste in secured and sealed containers and bags. So this is the symbol of biohazard, where biomedical wastes are being carried or transported. You can see this symbol. This is a very well-known symbol of biohazard. So here we can see the cytotoxic hazard symbol is C. It's within a triangle C. Within a triangle C is written. This is the cytotoxic hazard symbol, which is generally used. And in some other countries, they use symbols like this. And that is in the purple, cytotoxic materials and with care. But in our country, we use this toxic hazard symbol, that is C written within a triangle. This is ionizing radiation symbol. Ionizing radiation symbol is this one. So containers for bags and biomedical waste disposal carrying the symbol of biohazard. See what has happened at last. I have spoken for 1.5 hours, but this will happen at last. So let the waste of the sick not contaminate the lives of the healthy. This is the take-home message for today. Let the waste of the sick not contaminate the lives of the healthy. So if you have any question or clarification, you must scan my QR code and send me email or text me. I'll be free to answer your question. Not a problem at all, as today we are running out of time. So if you require, you must scan my QR code. Thank you all for your patience hearing.
So thank you very much.
Dr. Mondal, please.
Yes.
Yes.
So, sir, please remove your PPT.
Okay. Just a minute. Stop sharing.
Yes.
It's why it's not removing.
Yes, now it's okay. So thank you very much for your nice presentation. In one word, I may say that is very interesting lecture for us. And your delivery is so nice.
But I ran out of time.
That's why in the introduction part, I already mentioned, I have to read once again. He's well-known motivational speaker and very popular among junior medical practitioners in our circle. Okay, so thank you very much, sir, for your nice presentation. So we already passed our scheduled time. Now it is 11:35. Okay, so my request to all of my respected professor participant. So if you have any query, please write to me. I shall forward this message to Dr. Mitro and he will give your reply because time is already over.
Time is already over.
Okay, so thank you so much. On behalf of NITTR Kolkata, on behalf of our participant, so thank you very much to our Dr. Kaushik Mitra for your nice presentation, nice contribution, and nice input to this program. And obviously, we are benefited. So thank you so much. So after break, means 25 minutes break, again we'll meet at 12 o'clock. Okay, with this hope, thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you, the participants, and thank you, Dr. Mondal.